Hello and welcome back to Redlegs Drinks. I'm your old pal Redlegs. You may have noticed that the days are getting shorter, and what's more comforting than pumpkin spice? That's right, we're going to do a pumpkin spice simple syrup. Now when you're doing your own simple syrups, that means you get to control all the sweetness. Maybe you like a little bit sweeter, maybe you like it less sweet. Well, you get to control that, you get to figure out what you want. Now, you may have noticed that this is not my usual place that I go and I make stuff for Redlegs Drinks. Well, right now the seas are churning, so being outside is not a good place to be. And I needed to be in a galley somewhere because I need to heat things up. That's what you have to do with a simple syrup. And Mercy, she said, not in my galley, and kicked me right out. So I had to come here. Now I brought some friends with me. I've got Blackbeard right here, Joey the Pirate. You may remember my little friend right here. Yeah, Lucky, the most unluckiest rabbit around. I mean, he's got 4 little peg legs right here because every one of his rabbit's feet is well, you know. So he's here, but he's here to keep me company. We're gonna start off by turning the heat up high. We want to get it boiling. We want to get the water boiling. So first thing we're gonna need is water. So I've got water here to make the simple syrup, and I've got the ingredients. They'll be written down in the recipes and such like that. Will be all in there. Now this is going to be a fairly large batch, you know, because I like my my pumpkin spice, but it's also great. Here we go. I'm just going to put that in there. In case you're wondering, that's 30 ounces of water. That's right. Now also, just so you know, this right here, my bottle right here, I'm going to put this. That's not going to hold 30 ounces. No, this is only going to hold about 8 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I have a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to be filling these up with pumpkin spice syrup, so I can give them to my friends or to strangers, and maybe they'll become my friends. You never know. So that's what this is for. It's a great way. So the holidays are coming up, and you say, "Oh, I want to get a present, something homemade, something, but I don't want to do a work because I'm lazy." Well, that's what's great about this. It's not that much work. It's a bit more work than your standard simple syrup, because that's water, sugar. That's it. That's a simple syrup. You make a whole bunch of that, give them to your friends. That's about as easy as it gets. We have a grenadine one that we put out a while ago, and you saw how simple that was. You can make a whole bunch of grenadine to give to your friends. Oh, that would be wonderful, your friends and family. And after this, you could choose possibly to make the pumpkin spice. You can mix and match. Exactly. You know, do one for 1 year, one for another year. And then get this great little bottle to go with it. So I'm just going to set this off to the side. Now, we put the water in. We've got the heat up, but we still don't have any sugar in there. So we're going to put on, but this we're going to use 2 kinds of sugar. We're going to use our regular white sugar. Oh! Blackberry filled over. Is that too much to drink? Last blackberry for you. We're going to use our regular white sugar. That's pretty neat when it goes in there. Nice and easy. And we're going to put some brown sugar in here. That's right, some brown sugar. There we go. All nice in there. And now we're going to just stir it up. We want all the stuff to get all nice and mixed up in here. I'll turn that down for a little bit, because we do want it all to meld together. But what we don't want is like a rolling boil. We're trying to avoid that. Eventually, it'll all mix in together. Now, this is going to take a while, so we're going to do one of those fancy little jump cuts, and then we'll come back here in a wee bit, and we'll add some of the other ingredients in here. Alright, let's just have a chance to sort of meld into the rest of it. Melted and all the water and the sugar has all come together in there. Now, for our other ingredients, we're doing pumpkin spice, so therefore we're gonna need some pumpkin. Now, in here I've got about 15 ounces of pumpkin puree. Now, I could have gone out and gotten a pumpkin and do all the cooking down, but trust me, go get that canned stuff. It's so much easier. Now, what are we gonna put in this? We've got to have our pumpkin spices. That's right. So, one of our biggest amounts. Sit up there, Captain. Laying on the job like that. All right, so what we've got here is ginger root. That's dried ginger root. And this is about 4 ounces. I like ginger. Look, if you don't like ginger that much, don't put in as much. Do it less. Experiment. Try it out. Now remember, you can half all of this. Just cut it right in half and make a smaller batch. Like I said, this is a bit larger batch so that I can share it with friends. There we go. So put that in there. Now I've got some cinnamon, and I'm gonna put that in there as well, right like that. This is a bit nutmeg. Some recipes I've read call for nutmeg, some don't. I like nutmeg, so I'm putting it in there. And that was about a teaspoon of the nutmeg. And then I'm just gonna mix this all together. There we go. Get it all nice and mixed together before I put it into the pot with my simple syrup. But it's gonna go in there and it's gonna steep in all those flavors. All the flavors are gonna get it in there and they're gonna mix together. We don't want to be, like I said, we don't want it to be a rolling boil. I don't know if you can see all the wonderful steam that's starting to escape from the pot right here. Now let's say I wanted a bit more dense flavour in it, something a little bit darker in it. I could add molasses. Molasses would be a great little flavour to add that. Some people may add maple syrup. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Maybe I'll try that out someday. Give a bit of a wee different flavour. Now, one thing I don't want to forget to add to it later on is some vanilla extract, which I've got right here. And I'm going to add that a little bit later on in the process, near the end of the process is when I'm going to add that. So, don't want to forget that, because if I do, at least I said it out loud. So, it's all nice and mixed in there. So I'm just going to take this, put it in here. Now carefully, because we don't want to splash it all over the place. I mean, I know this isn't Mercy's kitchen, but the people who were kind enough to let me use their galley, I don't want to mess their galley up too much either. I may need it some other day. Now, there was something I forgot to tell you about earlier that we need to add to our pumpkin spice, and that is cloves. I just put about, I don't know, 7, 8, it's a guess, whatever I feel like. And I will put these in there too, to add to that pumpkin spice flavor. And of course, I decided to go ahead and add a cinnamon stick. I like cinnamon sticks. The flavor is a bit different, it's a bit richer. So that's what I did. So now we're at the point where everything is always blended together and it's very, very thick right now. That's because we've got all that pumpkin in there and all the other spices all rolling around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off and I'm just going to let it sit for a while and start to cool down. I'm just going to strain it through. Now let's say you don't have a nice strainer. What can you do to strain it? What you can use, like a cheesecloth. Well, that's usually pretty good. Maybe you want to go in layers and start off with something a little bit thicker, a little bit wider mesh to let things go through and work your way down, because it is pretty thick. It is pretty thick going through here, and it does take a wee bit of time to get all of that in there. In fact, I'm gonna have to do this where I strain it and then rinse out the strainer and then come back and internet just to show you. This is right here, so you can see how kind of thick it is right there. So I'm gonna have to drain all that, and I may, strain it maybe more than once. Now I'm gonna make a little bit of a whipped cream. Now to make a whipped cream, that's not too difficult, but it takes a bit of elbow grease. I'm gonna use a cup of heavy cream. Oh, there we go. A full cup of heavy cream right in there. Now, I would want to use a confectionery sugar in here. Not a lot. You don't need a lot. You just need a little bit. Cream itself is actually pretty darn sweet. I think we talked about that once before. But I'm going to use a little bit of this regular granulated sugar. Not much. Although I didn't measure it out. Hopefully it'll work. If not, I'll never tell. And we want another little touch of the vanilla extract. It's coming in quite handy, isn't it? There we go. It's not a lot. And now, that's just a lot of whipping it up. That's where we got this right here. Now, obviously, for those that have a machine to do this, that would be a lot easier. All you have to do is clean up that machine as well, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so just to give you a quick look, you see how nice that is? Oh, how beautiful that got to be. Alright, and with everything you do like this, you want to make sure that you can taste it. Make sure that you've got enough sugar in it, enough whatever vanilla. So I'll with you. It's pretty good. Maybe use a little bit more sugar, but for this it's not going to be so bad because, as I said, the simple syrup is so sweet that we'll want a bit of a counterbalance, which is also why we're using coffee, because of coffee's wonderful bitter flavors. So just 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, maybe 2 seconds, but still, here we go. So I'm gonna put on some of my coffee right in here. There we go. Great mug, isn't it? Here we go. And these are for sale. Alright, so how much of the syrup to put in your coffee? Well, I'm going to start off with a ½ ounce. Why am I doing only a ½ ounce? Well, like I said, it's very sweet. I don't want it too sweet, so I'll start a ½ ounce. And I can always add from there. It's hard to take away once you've added something. So when you're worried about something like this, like I said, always start off slow. And you'll see it's very thick as it comes out. It's not quite like those syrups that you would buy in the store. No, those syrups are definitely going to be on the thinner side. So there we go. Gonna stir this up. So there we go. And there we have our pumpkin spice coffee with whipped cream. Get a mustache on my mustache. It's very good. Well, so if I like it sweeter, make a bit of a mess. If I want it sweeter, I can most definitely add more. Or if I want it a bit, if I don't want it sweet, a little bit less. And of course, no whipped cream on top. All the whipped cream. Oh, it feels good as you just go down. Now, I do believe I said something about making a cocktail with this. Now, as you know, cocktails can be either shaken or stirred. I'm going to stir this one. It will probably go a little bit easier to shake it, but for the ease of the moment, I'm going to stir it. Besides, it gets me a chance to use this wonderful spoon that I was given. I love this thing. So here we go. First I'm gonna do is, well, first I'm gonna add my alcohol. Mr. Black Coffee. Oh, it's wonderful. No, they do not sponsor me, although if they wish to, I'll be happy to listen. I would think it would be a wonderful idea. So for this, I'm gonna add 2 ounces. And always want to shake up a syrup like this with so many things inside of it. And it's a cocktail, so I think I'm going to add a full ounce. And I've got my nice little, so I'm going to stir it up and then make the, mix up all those wonderful flavors in here. And of course, I've got to have my whipped cream in it. And there you go. Oh my goodness. Yes. So it's a very, this is a dessert drink. Very much. It's a very, very sweet drink. Oh, but it feels so good. Happy holidays to you. All of them. There are so many holidays. I can't wish you all of them. So I'm gonna go, yeah, all right. I'm wishing you happy holidays because first of all, I love holidays. All of them. Whether they're mine or not, they're great. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Arbor Day, Veterans Day. Yeah, that's a, So remember, when wine, whiskey, and song becomes too much, give up singing. I'm Redlegs, and this has been Redlegs Drinks.